Morning, guys. Louis at Felling Elvis Presley. So I've woke up, got myself a nice cup of tea. I've had a few of you messaging me about this interview with Ginger Alden.
So this is my first time to Eureka Springs, but I always loved it. And it's been quite a few years, but I came here quite a few times in the past. And when I was younger.
Yeah, and your sister's also been here as well, right?
Yes, my sister Rosemary. So no, it's beautiful here. So I'm excited to be back.
So I think you're in for a bit of a treat in this short clip that I've taken from that interview. So the gentleman introduces her to the audience, how they met, Elvis and Ginger, and then hands it over to Ginger. Let's have a little listen.
So she met Elvis towards the end part of 1976, and he had an engagement, his last Vegas engagement in December of 76, and came back off tour, and Ginger, after that tour, had gotten some bad news that her grandfather had passed away.
Yeah.
So obviously that is just heartbreaking for Ginger, who was very close to her grandfather. But I don't think she could ever have expected what would happen next.
And I'll let her tell the story because to set it up, obviously you were going to your grandfather's funeral, but certainly after touring out in Vegas you didn't expect Elvis, but he kind of surprised you. I'll let you tell that story.
So she goes on to mention about Elvis's New Year's Eve show. So I'd like to look that up, maybe do a discussion concerning that particular show. Let's keep listening.
Elvis, I was with him on his New Year's Eve show, and I don't know if a lot of you saw that. It was a fantastic show. For me, it was always difficult because I was at all of Elvis's shows except for the 9 months that I was with him, and I thought he did phenomenal.
So we as fans obviously were very interested in Ginger Alden. She spent the last 9 months with Elvis. We're going to do some live streams and we're going to make Ginger Alden our topic.
And even when he pulled a hamstring muscle or whatever, he wanted to give the audience his best. But the New Year's Eve show was quite something. But if you had asked me, I just thought they were all so well done. It was hard to separate at the time.
So believe it or not, Elvis was still doing his karate moves right till the end. Had pulled a hamstring. I've read about this a few times.
But it was, I think it was around New Year's Eve, my grandfather passed away, and I was very close to my grandfather. So we were coming off the tour, came back to Memphis, and I told Elvis I had to leave. I went to Graceland with him and had to leave. And it just amazed me because I was going to go to my grandfather's funeral. And he told me, he goes, I'd really like to go with you.
Obviously, this was a big deal. Elvis Presley going to her grandfather's funeral. She was probably really surprised that he wanted to go. I'm not surprised. For me, the way that we know Elvis, it was no surprise to me.
And we were just shocked. My parents were already in Harrison, Arkansas, and my grandfather lived, they lived in Mount Sherman in Jasper. And so, I mean, how many people would think that Elvis Presley is going to go to the funeral with you? I remember thinking we were going to drive there, and I was like, well, where do we put it? What do we do? We had all these plans to...
A very sad time for Ginger and her family. But Elvis Presley's coming to the funeral? Wow.
But I knew he had to be tired from the tour, and I remember just saying to him, aren't you tired? And he said, no, I'd really like to be there. And that always holds a very special place in my heart.
And as I always say, a beautiful man inside and out. Elvis Presley wanted to do his bit for his new girlfriend.
Because the weather was very bad in Harrison. It was very icy and snowy. And I remember Elvis was just determined to get my family there. So he offered his plane. And he ended up flying my sister, my brother, his wife.
Elvis was on a mission to help her family to get to the funeral, no matter what the weather.
And it was quite treacherous, and we landed on this icy runway in Harrison, and we stayed at the Ramada Inn in Harrison. And Elvis made sure that we made it up the mountaintop, which wasn't easy because of all the ice, but so Elvis attended my grandfather's funeral, and that was about, I think it was maybe January 3rd, 1977.
I'm actually quite worried. When I listen to this story, I'm like, my God, they could have crashed. The whole thing sounds very scary. Icy weather. Landed in icy weather. It's like, whoa.
And that was quite something too. The church was a very small, I believe it was Assembly of God Church in Mount Sherman. And Elvis had a very close friend, Charlie Hodge, from his Army days, and Charlie was with us.
So we've done some pretty tough topics recently, haven't we? Charlie Hodge is the person Elvis chose to bring with him to this funeral. Says everything to me. Elvis really loved Charlie Hodge and really trusted him.
And the church was a very small, maybe 6 little pews on each side, and Elvis walks in, and there were other family people that knew, they knew he was coming. And everyone was my relatives, they were very polite to him. And
so for me, this is the most touching part of this whole story. Have a good listen, guys. This is beautiful.
And I remember the minister got up and started to sing, and he was quite nervous. He knew Elvis is sitting looking at him, and I'll never forget, Elvis looks up at him and just goes like this and nods and starts slowly singing along with him. And Charlie Hodge did too in harmony, and you could just see the difference, the change in this minister. And
He got the approval.
He got the approval.
So Elvis looks up and nods his head, gives his approval, but it was more than an approval. Elvis and Charlie Hodge start singing with the minister. Just beautiful. Could you imagine being there? How beautiful that was. How they honoured Ginger's grandfather. I love this. This is so special. This is the true man. Elvis does deserve better.
And so it was just an amazing thing for someone. It shows what a good-hearted person he was, that he took time to do that.
Perfect words from Ginger Alden. Perfect.
If you don't mind, can you show that other picture that we have? So this is a photo from that day, correct?
Yeah, that was at the cemetery in Mount Sherman. And that was, I'm actually fortunate. A lot of people were like, oh, you're smiling. And I said, well, that's what usually you do when someone says to take a picture, even though it was my grandfather's funeral. But that was by the graveside. So I'm actually happy that a cousin of mine took this picture so that I have it.
And we, the fans, of course, we are happy that picture was taken. Elvis just looking pretty normal at the funeral. So the people that insulted him, damaged his dignity, Elvis looks fine. He looks fine. He looks like he's there for his girlfriend to honour her grandfather.
I think this was on the cover of several magazines back then, so you guys may have copies of that. And your father also, after he passed, he's also buried in that general area, is that correct?
Yes, my father is buried at the same cemetery.
So I found that very touching, very beautiful. Thank you to Ginger Alden. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. We will be bringing up Ginger Alden as a topic. We're massive fans of Ginger Alden. I don't think she ever betrayed Elvis. I think this book speaks beautifully about Elvis. So we're going to go on to some new topics. And what we're really trying to say here is that to the people that have been good to Elvis, that have honoured his life, that have spoke well of Elvis and have been loyal and true to Elvis, we stand by you. We stand by you. We, the fans around the world. Loyalty is so important. Elvis deserves better. Thanks, guys. See you on the live stream.